Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I will finally be unboxing, swatching, and demonstrating the new Chanel Le Blanc makeup collection. And I am late, but this is sort of the perfect video going into Easter weekend because these colors just embody springtime. And it is already available online on Chanel.com as well as the Chanel beauty boutiques. I picked mine up nearly a week ago now, but I have not touched anything. So I'm excited to finally play around with these products. And of course, we will do a full face of Chanel. There's always a star of the show, and for this collection it has to be the Fantasy de Chanel Illuminating Blush Powder. It's a blush, it's a powder, it's swirled together, and it's beautiful. You've probably seen this all over social media because it's so pretty to look at. It has the CC logo embossed directly on top of the powder and a really gorgeous textured, almost tweed background. Now it is very pricey. It is of course limited edition. I want to say this powder retails for $80 and it's marginally bigger. It's basically the same size as a standard Chanel blush, which has 6 grams, and this has 7 grams of product. When you unbox, you see it does come with a velvet protector as well as a little mini brush, which I think for the price it should come with a more substantial brush. I generally don't use these, but I do hang on to them. I think it's nice for travel. I don't know if it's the ideal blush brush for this particular powder, but it's cute. And I like the fact that it's kind of flat because you could also use this as a highlighter brush. So I do like that it's included, more so because of the price. And then there is a little plastic protector. First impression looking at it, it's so pretty, but it's a lot more silvery in person than I expected, and I'm wondering if anybody else has felt this way. In photos, I don't know why it translates a little bit more pink, and I thought this would be more like a blush with a slight luminosity. I actually think this looks more like a highlighter with a slightly pink undertone. And I'll tell you right now, just like I told you with the tweed eyeshadow palettes, is this essential? Absolutely not, especially for the price. But if you're a Chanel collector, if you love picking up any of the really special limited edition pieces, then of course this is going to catch your eye. It's probably on your radar and maybe you picked up two. And then we have the limited edition eyeshadow palette. This is number 68, Délice. It looks like Easter candy or an Easter egg. It's so colorful, and even the exterior packaging is colorful, which I love that they do that for their limited collections. In all honesty, I don't love this color story. These are just not the types of colors that I typically wear, and we usually see pinks and purples for the Le Blanc collection, so no surprises there. I do love that Chanel gave us something a little bit different. This palette is what Pastel Dreams are made of, and it does seem a little bit more versatile than palettes they've done in the past. When I see these shades together, it looks a little bit discombobulated, like these colors weren't meant to go together. I don't think this is one of their more user-friendly, super intuitive palettes. I don't see myself getting a ton of use out of this on a regular basis. I'm a pretty boring, neutral person usually, but when you look at it, you can tell it's special because Chanel just doesn't do color stories like this very often. It's been years since the last time they created something a little bit more jewel-toned. So I do like it because it's unique. I have both new balm essentials here. This is Lilas or Lilas and Dragé. This is the multi-use glow stick. All in all, not one of my favorite products from Chanel just because I don't really grab for them that often. I'm not really a sheer, dewy, glass skin highlighter type of person, something I've discovered about myself because I have so many of them. I think I have just about every single color. I like them, especially whenever I'm doing a demonstration, but then in daily life, it's not something that I'm actively grabbing for. Now, the Rouge Frais Balm Essential that launched as part of the Spring-Summer collection this year, I love because it's so different. I mean, if you were to swatch every single Balm Essential, it would be a very obvious standout because it's bright red, it has a ton of color payoff, and it really gives you more of a sun-kissed flush. You could use it as more of a blush than a highlight. These look more iridescent, so I'm excited to swatch them. I actually think they're going to be really beautiful. This is Lilas. This is Dragé, or Dragé. The iridescent violet is so unexpected for Chanel. I think this looks really cool. This I might just have to keep in the top drawer to force myself to use. And this pink is very pretty. Again, it has kind of a pearly pink sheen to it, so I wonder how this will compare to the rosé. And lastly, I have 2 Rouge Coco Balms and 2 new Rouge Allure Ink lipsticks. I really like the Rouge Allure Ink, and these are new shades, 236 Gourmandise, 238 Temptation, and then we have 928 Pink Delight, and 930 Sweet Treat. and the Rouge Cocoa Balm. All right, I scooted in much closer for the demonstration. The only thing I have on my face right now is moisturizer. You can see my cheeks are a little bit pink. It's because I've had a very active day. It's kind of warm in here with all of the lights, and I was doing some cleaning earlier, and I did not apply my rosacea cream today. So for primer, I pulled out my Sublimage Le Soin Perfecteur. This is my very fancy Sublimage primer. It's beautiful. It's illuminating. It leaves a really pretty, slightly champagne gold cast on the skin. And it helps to fill in fine lines and pores, grip the foundation. I had somebody recently comment on a video and ask me if I felt like this was worth it, because it does also contain skincare. The short answer is no, it's not. If you're looking to splurge and treat yourself, then I say go for it. I mean, it looks beautiful on the skin. I don't have any complaints. But if you're looking for something a little bit more budget friendly, I would say the new illuminating primer from Chanel works just as nice. It has more of a pearly glow versus the champagne gold. It's such a subtle difference, you probably wouldn't really be able to tell on the skin. It's not something that I use every day though. I basically pull this out for special occasions, or when I really want my makeup to look its best and I want to feel my best as I'm getting ready for the evening or whatever the occasion is. I do like using products with skincare ingredients, especially as the first step, because it acts as a bit of a buffer between your face and the makeup. For foundation, I was planning to use my Sublimage Le Tint, and I know I've seen it somewhere, and I couldn't find it whenever I was looking for it, so I probably put it down, misplaced it temporarily. Instead, I pulled out my Sublimage Essence de Tint. I can barely read it because the letters are scratched off. This has been sitting in the drawer. I really haven't used this in such a long time, so it's probably a blessing in disguise. That way I can wear this foundation again. I need to refresh my memory. I think I liked it. I know it has skincare and it's much lighter and glowier than the Sublimage Le Tint. I wear B30 in all of my Chanel foundations. And this is a serum foundation, so basically an elevated skin tint. The colors of the eyeshadow palette are very soft and spring-like, so I figured we would do a light, more natural, fresh-faced makeup look today. In which case, this foundation should be perfect. I hope everybody has fun plans for the Easter weekend. My parents are coming to town. They usually do. Either we go see them or they come see us for Easter. So I'm excited to take a few days off and just hang out. We don't really have any set plans. We're maybe going to do a Sunday brunch somewhere. Should probably book something. They're going to bring their little rescue poodle, Bella, who's so sweet. I love seeing her. And Bella and Jazzy will just have a ball. I know this review is for the Le Blanc makeup collection and not the foundation, but I have to say, because it's been a while since I've talked about it, it looks okay. I'm not crazy about this foundation. I prefer the original Sublimage Le Tint. Because it's a little bit thinner, it just ends up looking a little bit streaky. I really don't love the way it's looking on my pores over here either. I think it's salvageable. I don't think it's the worst foundation I've ever worn. I don't feel like I need to go wash this off and start fresh. But I did want to mention it because it's a very expensive foundation, and I do think there are better options from Chanel, and there are just better luxury options out there. I did pull out my Sublimage Le Correcteur concealer. I have the shade 10. This is such a beautiful concealer. There's always so much product in the top. I just carefully put the jar down, and then I am using this Pro Highlight 98 brush from Sephora. I just picked up a teeny tiny bit. I'm going to use this brush to spread it around. The concealer, I think, is incredible. And I don't want to judge the foundation too harshly, because I'll tell you what happened to me the other day. I was wearing the new Guerlain Le Tint, which my first impression, I shared a review. I really liked the foundation and it wore beautifully throughout the day. I thought, yes, this is going to be an amazing new addition to my foundation collection. I wore it again a few days later, and I happened to be creating content. I was out and about. I was sweating, I was active, but I checked the mirror later on and my foundation looked so bad. I had so much creasing underneath my eye, and I don't really know what happened. But something went terribly wrong at some point in the makeup process. I used my Guerlain Le Tint, and then I used the Pat McGrath Labs concealer. That's a tried and true favorite of mine. I don't know if it was the combination. Maybe I didn't use enough powder. Could have just been a skin situation. I don't know what happened, but my foundation looked a mess. Creases everywhere. The worst I've seen in a long time. I was really shocked. So I need to keep playing around with that Guerlain Le Tint. It could have just been an off day, but it does make a huge difference. Reviewing a foundation in air conditioning where I'm just sitting in this room, the worst thing that happens is I have a bunch of lights directly hitting my face and it gets kind of hot in here. But that can be a totally different experience versus wearing the foundation out and about for the day, sweating, running errands, doing whatever it is that I'm doing, and then coming home at the end of a long day. Night and day difference. It could be that it's just a really dewy formula and I need to set with more powder. And somebody mentioned in my comments that's probably what went wrong with the bronzer blush. You watched that last video, and I think they hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what happened. The foundation was a little bit too damp, so it immediately picked up all of the powder products and everything just stuck to my face, and then it was difficult to blend. Now with this serum foundation from Chanel that I'm wearing today, kind of know what I'm in for. It's definitely going to be on the dewy hydrating side. And she is glowing. Before we powder, I'm going in with one more cream product. This is the Le Beige Cream Bronzer. I believe I pulled out shade 390. Yes, this is 390 Solitan Bronze Universal. I thought my cheeks were pink because I was feeling warm from all of the lights, but now my throat is starting to tingle a little bit and I'm really hoping I'm not getting sick. I'm gonna have to chug some vitamin C. I think we have tons of Emergency in our cupboard. Cannot be getting sick before my parents come. Or in general, I don't have time to be sick right now, so that would be really inconvenient. I like that this bronzer is so natural. That way we can keep the look very spring and fresh. I didn't want to go too dark with my bronzer, even though I did sunless tan. My body's pretty bronze, but we want to keep the face a little bit lighter. And the last complexion step before we can finally move on to all of the new stuff is loose powder. This is the Natural Finish Loose Powder in the shade 10 from Chanel. Right before I sat down to film, I was texting my SA Geo at the Brickle Boutique, and we haven't talked about what's coming up next for Chanel. I have seen a couple sneak peeks, and I've heard about the summer collection this year, but he texted me to let me know about a really unique sunglasses collection that they just received. The pictures look really interesting. They're foldable, and I guess it's super limited. Once they sell out, they're gone. So I may, if I have time, sneak over to the boutique tomorrow to try to see the sunglasses in person, try them on. I cannot resist new sunglasses from Chanel. My collection has grown so much over the years, but I wear every single pair to death. I wear them each all the time. So I feel justified picking up sunglasses. I mean, it's one of those Florida staples. And if I do make it to the boutique, I will try to pry as much insider information out of him as possible and find out what's coming up for summer, fall. Fragrances. I feel like we need a new fragrance from Chanel. I powder just about everywhere, so you can't really see the bronzer as much, but I feel like it's one of those steps that you can always add at the end. It's what I usually do before I leave the house. If I need to add a little bit more bronzer, I will, but I want to kind of keep the face as neutral as possible so you can really see this blush, which could be more of a highlighter. We're about to find out. So now I'm going in with Fantasy de Chanel. I hate to mess it up, and I am going to try to apply this using the included brush. Oh, that is so pretty. It reminds me a lot of Tweed Pink. That blush. I wore it just the other day, so it's fresh in my mind. This definitely has more luminosity. Do you see how silvery my powder looks, especially up at the top? I do think it looks so fresh-faced. Wow, that's really pretty. It's a blush, it's a highlighter, it really is both. I can barely see it in the viewfinder. I don't want to add too much because in the compact, in person, I think this is perfect. My cheek looks very pink and glowy. Yeah, it's really special. And you don't need a lot. I think this is perfect. I am going to build it up just a little bit just to see, and because I now need to even out my cheek. I really think the beauty of this blush is that it's faint. It's a very angelic, bridal, kind of fairy pink type of blush. It reminds me a lot of a pink Dior highlighter that I had a couple years ago. I actually finished the entire thing. But it kind of reminds me of that because it almost looks like it has a pink shimmer to it. I cannot stop staring at this blush. It's really pretty. My skin is already glowing, but we have 2 more highlighters to try here. So this is Lilas and Drage. So I'm going to do the Lilas on this side, and we will see what this looks like. I almost feel like it's a little bit unfair to try this on top of the blush because it's a little bit iridescent, but the blush already has a little bit of a pearly highlight. It's not ideal, but we just have to work with the circumstances we're under. It looks wet. It's pretty. My cheek looks wet, it looks dewy and glowy. I think it looked dewy and glowy before I added the Balm Essential. This color is really beautiful, it's undeniable. It's really going to depend on your personal preferences and what style of makeup you wear, what are the type of products that you use. To me, in my makeup routine, I think the blush, the Fantasy de Chanel, is the better buy. If I were to choose one over the other, I would definitely go with that powder because that's something that I will just throw on anytime. I can keep it in the top drawer. I will probably use that up this year. You're not going to be disappointed if you pick this up. It's not overly dramatic. You know, the Balm Essential is meant for a softer, more minimal, summery makeup look. This is like a dee dee dee, dab dab dab, little something something, brush up the brows, and head out the door. This is just the blush. And this has the Balm Essential. So on the other side, we are going to apply the Drage. This feels like a more natural match to the blush highlighter because it's pink and it has that pinky pearl. If the pearly glow isn't enough and you really want that glass skin, it gives you that gloss, it gives you that balmy finish. What I have found about the Balm Essentials, I know some people ask if your hair gets stuck in it. Yeah, if you have like a little strand of hair or something, it's going to be stuck to your face. That doesn't bother me as much. I don't find them to last and stay really glossy all day long. Anytime I've ever worn a Balm Essential, it's not that it dries down, but it loses its shine a little bit throughout the day. So it's not going to stay quite so intense. 2023 is the summer of Barbie. I feel like these products are perfect for the occasion. I love the look. It looks very fresh, very spring. I applied a lot of the blush and I applied a lot of this balm. Just looking at my cheeks, this is too much. I wouldn't leave the house with quite this much product on, but I just wanted you to see what it looks like. And I truly wanted to see if I could wear this as a blush, if you could build up the pigment, and I think you can. It gives a really pretty light pink flush. I just pulled up some inspiration because I look at this eyeshadow palette and I truly don't really know where to begin and I don't want to mess this up. So I think I'm going to try to create this look from the We Love Coco Instagram page. It looks like she does the kind of lime eyeshadow on the inner lid and then the purple and then the pink. And it's all sort of an ombre look. This is very out of my comfort zone. It's not something that I would usually wear, but let's try it. I'm going to use this little brush from the palette and we're going to start with the lime. I'm calling it lime. I know some people say it's yellow, it's pale, but it's still lemon lime. It's really reflective. It has a lot of shimmer to it. You can build up the intensity when you use your finger, but it's just more of a sheer eyeshadow. The texture is a little bit drier as well, which isn't a bad thing. It's just not a super smooth and creamy eyeshadow. I'm pretty sure she used this purple. And this is going on the middle of the lid. I wasn't sure how these shadows were going to look next to each other, but because they're lighter, it kind of works. It's more like watercolors. I picked up a brush for the pink, so now we're going into this top shade. And this is going in the outer V area and blending into the purple. And then it almost looks like she blended a little pink above the crease as well to just tie everything together. I don't know, I watched the tutorial so many times and I still can't quite figure out what she did to achieve the look. It's interesting. I mean, I would never have thought to do a look like this. I don't usually take a lot of risks with my eyeshadow. I'm sure you know that I'm very much a one-trick pony. I have my one eyeshadow style. It's generally what I stick with all the time. So at least this is something a little bit different. That pink is very, very light. I know all of the eyeshadows are light, but this is basically as dark as it's going to get. So it's a nice crease color, it's a nice lid color. Could be a really pretty one and done. It's not a really intense pink. With the small brush, I picked up just a little bit of the purple. You might love this look, you might hate this look, but you can't say I did not go for it. I filled in my eyebrows, I did a little eyeliner on the top lash line and mascara, and this is the complete eye look. It's very different. It's not something I would usually wear, and I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it. I kind of like it, but I also just know that it's not me. I don't want to recommend something that I wouldn't use myself. I don't think it's a bad palette. I think it's an interesting color story. And as I was doing my makeup, I was thinking to myself, how can I put this to use so that I'm not just wasting my money on it? And I think what I will probably do in the future is I could see myself using this deeper color right here to add a little depth in the crease. I could see myself using this pink as maybe a crease color or a transition shade, something that would help blend other colors. The purple I think is nice. I think that would actually look pretty maybe all over the lid for just a light purple eyeshadow look. And then this I could see maybe popping right in the center to add a little highlight right in the center of the lid. But using all of these colors together to create a look, I'm not sure. It's a little bit too colorful. It's too many colors on the eyes for my taste. Let me know what you think down below. I did my best. First up, we have the Rouge Coco Balm 928 Pink Delight. Pretty sure this is the lipstick that she was wearing in the tutorial. I don't have anything on my lips. It just needs a lip liner, that's all. Because I'm trying on all of the lipsticks, I'm not going to worry about a lip liner just yet. Kind of just wanted to see the color, and I do think it's pretty. This is a really great throw in your bag anytime type of lipstick. I just wiped off Sweet Treat. Oh no, I wiped off Pink Delight. This is Sweet Treat 930. This looks really dark. Now the balm does go on a little bit more sheer. That's pretty. Ooh. I really like this color. I don't know why these feel so matte. The Rouge Coco Balms, it's like a matte lip balm. I never noticed that before. I don't know if I would call this pink. It just looks like a really pretty natural lip color. You know, those really lucky people, God's favorites, the people who have really pink lips. That's what this color reminds me of. It's almost as if I'm not wearing anything. I'm definitely wearing something, but it's not super obvious. Especially the finish just looks like lip. Doesn't look like I have a thick, creamy lipstick on or gloss. The balms are a little bit more casual. You can just kind of throw them on anytime. But the inks, this is a true liquid lipstick. They are incredibly opaque, but very thin. So this one is 236 Gourmandise. And then the one that's more red is the 238 Temptation. They're both pretty deep and dark, but I'm going to go with this one, Gourmandise. Now somebody has to talk me off the ledge next time I even talk or think about purchasing any more lip products. I definitely do not need any more lipsticks. It's kind of a strawberry cherry type of reddish pink. I really like the lipstick. This is so pretty. And what I like about the inks is that they're not drying at all. I don't think this lipstick shade is the most flattering with this eyeshadow look. I think because we have colors on the eyes, I would probably stick with something very light pink or nude. But on its own, I think the lip is really pretty. And it looks really nice with the cheek. Last but certainly not least, we have the final ink. This is 238 Temptation. Ooh. Oh, wow. It's a pretty color. I love how they stain the lips. They're comfortable to wear. If you are in the market for a pinky red, this is a great collection for you. I think on its own, with a different eye makeup, this could be just the most beautiful lipstick. I do really like the color. I don't know how I feel about this entire look. I am so curious to hear your opinions. Just want to add a little bit more blush. We're just going to move it in a little bit. This is the makeup look for the day. We have tested every single new product from this collection, and overall thoughts, I think individually there are pieces that I love. I'm not sure how I feel about everything all at once. Like, this is not a look that I will ever recreate. The Le Blanc makeup collection isn't usually my favorite of the year just because I don't wear a lot of pinks and purples. I know some people love them, and this is like their Super Bowl. These colors are beautiful. The quality of the shadows is really nice for a soft wash of color. I would say even softer for Chanel standards. I mean, they go on very light and sheer. They're blendable. You're not going to get a ton of chunky fallout, and it's going to be for lighter eye looks, but they're more jewel toned. So if you like jewel tones and you like softer eyeshadow, this eyeshadow palette is going to be perfect for you. If you're like me and you lean towards more neutrals, I don't know, maybe you can recognize that it's not something you would get a lot of use out of. I always love when Chanel does something different. If they came out with a neutral eyeshadow palette every collection, that would be incredibly boring. I don't want that either. It's really not normal for somebody to purchase everything a brand launches. I do it because I have this YouTube channel, but it's perfectly okay and acceptable to not love every single product launched by a brand. Not everything is going to be for everybody. This eyeshadow palette is not for me personally. I am going to play around with it and find ways to integrate it into my normal makeup routine because I think that's the only way I will pick it up ever again. The one must-have product for me is the blush highlighter, and if I was going to choose one piece from this collection, if I had to choose only one thing, it would be this hands down, because as beautiful as it is to look at, I mean, it pained me to touch the powder and ruin the beautiful design. This is so wearable. I mean, this is something that I could wear every single day, keep it in my top drawer. I am going to make it a point to finish this before the end of the year so I can get my money's worth. I mean, it's pretty sitting in the drawer, but I think it's even prettier on the cheek. I mean, look at the glow. The amount of color payoff and the tone of the blush too is just ideal for me personally. I think this looks so beautiful. We already talked about the Balm Essentials. You know how I feel about them. Now that the makeup is complete, I haven't changed my mind. I think they're pretty. This is great for that glass skin, dolphin skin, whatever other skin trend, glazed donut skin. All of the new trending words. This is going to give you that effect where it just looks like your skin is wet, healthy, plump, luscious. very well hydrated. And that completes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you found it helpful seeing these pieces in action. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. I am so curious to hear your thoughts and opinions on this collection. Do you love these colors? Is this something that you're skipping? Are you picking anything up? Let me know down below in the comments section. We'll keep the conversation going there. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned. Everything on my face will be listed down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.